Hey divers, Alec, Peirce, Tech Tips. First of all, let me say thanks very much for all the comments. I can't believe how many comments I get on these Tech Tips, and 99% of them are complimentary. The odd one questions my integrity, which is fine. I learn new stuff every day. So if I say something that you think is incorrect, or if you want to add to it, gosh, send it to me. Geez, I've never been one to say, I know everything. I do not. In fact, the older I get, the less I realize I know. But anyway, so this Tech Tips, and today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, a very popular topic, a very modern topic, weight-integrated BCs. Weight-integrated BCs. Yeah, BCs, you're a diver, you know what a BC is, BCD, BC. And weight integrated simply means that the BC also carries weights. Now, right out the bat, it's kind of strange because BC is supposed to take you up and down, right? So why would you put weights in them? Well, there's a good reason for that, which I'll try to explain as we go on. But first of all, I had to deal with something. We've had a couple of comments from divers. We mentioned the other day that some of our divers wear 20, 25, 30 pounds of weights to get down. And a couple of, what? You wear 20 pounds of weight? Why do you wear so much weight? Well, let me explain. Obviously, those comments came from divers who dive only in warm water. First, we're jealous. Secondly, in order to dive, we often have to dive locally, which is often cold water. That means California, Seattle, the west coast of Canada, Vancouver, the east coast of Canada. You want cold water? Whoo, yeah, go to Nova Scotia. Inland Canada, anywhere north of the Mason-Dixon line, or for you non-North Americans, anywhere north of Florida is considered cold water. And up here, where I live, in the north, it is definitely cold water. So what that means is this. First of all, the weights are worn to overcome the buoyancy of the wetsuit. Technically, in theory anyway, people are neutral. So if you jump in the water, you should float. Of course, the catch is that you float completely submerged, including your head. You see, so you can still drown, but you float. If you want to dive down, you might put on a couple of weights, 2 or 3 pounds of weights, and then you can make a nice duck dive, and down you go and pick up something off the bottom and swim back up. Makes it a bit easier. Put on a wetsuit, things change. Wetsuits are made of foam neoprene. Now, again, you guys down south, you lucky guys who live in warm water, you might wear a shorty, 3 mil suit, not much buoyancy. 3 or 4 or 5 pounds is all you need to overcome the buoyancy of the wetsuit. Off you go. If it's a little bit colder, you might wear a full coverage 3 mil suit. Might need 6 or 8 pounds. You might wear a full coverage 5 mil suit. That's what I wear when I'm diving warm water now. I'm old. And so I get cold easily now, so I no longer wear a 3 mil shorty or 3 mil full suit. I wear a 5 mil thicker, full coverage suit. So I wear about 10, 12 pounds of lead weights when I go diving in warm water. That's not so bad, right? But if you're diving here in cold water, water colder than 60 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than, what is that, Kevin? 60 is like 16, 15, 14, 12, 10 degrees. Yeah, we dive in water that is. Are you ready for this? 1. Yeah, we ice dive. We go to a local lake and we cut a hole in the ice, tie a rope around our waist and jump in under the ice in summer. That's great. So it's cold water. We need protection. We're not talking about a 3 mil shorty. We wear a 7 mil, it used to be called the 1/4 inch wetsuit. Covers our whole body. We put a hood on and gloves and boots. Our whole body is covered in foam neoprene. Keeps us warm. Also makes us very buoyant. If you're completely covered in a full coverage hood, gloves, boots, 7 mil suit, typically you're going to need at least 18 pounds, commonly 20, 22, 24, the odd person, because you see Kevin is a big boy. So he's going to have a big wetsuit. 30 pounds would not be uncommon, you see? And then dry suits. You may know about dry suits. Not you lucky guys that dive down, the guys and girls that dive only in warm water, but up here again, some people have dry suits. So a dry suit is completely seals your body, and you have underwear that's full of air. Air is buoyant. In a dry suit, it would not be uncommon to have 25 or 30 or 35 pounds, sometimes more. So you see, when you hear that someone says, I wear 25 pounds of weights, don't freak and call the guy an idiot. There may be a good reason for that. It's not uncommon. As a matter of fact, here's a weight belt, a typical weight belt from our rental department that we give our new divers after they've been trained and they're going out for their first open water dive. This is 22 pounds of weights. This is what it looks like. okay? And we put this around, off they go. And with this, all this weight around their waist, they can get down. They can actually get down to go scuba diving, which makes scuba diving a lot more fun. Scuba diving is not much fun when you're on the surface, so we need all this weight to get down. Oh, sorry. Oh, cement floor, good thing. Okay, so weight integrated BCs. How do they help? What's the deal there? Okay, well, weight integrated BCs are actually pretty good. I'm not a big fan. I don't just, I see something new comes out, I jump on it and say, I try it, I think about it, and so on, and eventually I've come around to the fact that integrated BCs are a good idea. There's a few things you need to know about them. And clear up some of those ideas out there that are, okay, let's take an integrated BC. This is a very, very popular BC. Now this is a full feature. We're going to call it full feature BC. Okay, so this says everything. This is a BCD. This is everything. First of all, it's very heavy duty. 1,000 denier. Denier is the number of thread lines in a square inch if you could magnify it and count them. Some BCs, that's very strong. That's a lot. Some BCs are 800, 600, 400 denier, a little thinner material. This is a very, very strong BC, okay? And it has all the features. It has pocket, nice zipper pocket on it. It has all kinds of clips. Of course, it has a dump BC, dump inflator mechanism, another dump over here, another dump on the back, 2 tank bands. I mean, this BC's got everything. I call it the Harley-Davidson BC. See the chrome rings on here? Heavy chrome rings too. It's got everything on it, okay? So it's a real full feature BC, and it's not uncommon. Most major manufacturers have a BC that is similar to this. And once again, to get to the weight integration portion, most of these major manufacturers, once you get past the very simplest, the very basic BC, it's weight integrated. So take a look here. Here's the pocket that you can use to store whatever it is you use to store, okay, slates and lights and stuff. But look in front here. You see here? What's this? Pull that out of there like that. Look, there's a pocket. Yeah, exactly. This is the weight pocket. This particular pocket says it will hold 10 pounds. We'll come back to that. So here's the theory behind weight integration. So you would take and you would decide how much weight you need to wear. Let's assume I was down south and I need 12 pounds. Okay, so I would take a 3-pound weight and put it in there. And I would put that back inside, just that simple, clip it into place. Clip it into place. See how simple that is? Put it in the right spot, okay? And then I would do the same on this side. 3 and 3, that's 6. What about the rest? Well, most of these full feature BCs have another weight pocket on the back. And so I put 3 pounds in there and 3 pounds over there. Then you see I'm perfectly balanced. 6 pounds in front, 6 pounds in the back. So if I decide I'm perfectly balanced, I can sit upright, I can do whatever I want. The tank goes in there, off I go. I got my 12 pounds of weight. It's all in the BC, and no weight belt. This is kind of nice. That means one less thing to put on. And I mean, a 12-pound weight belt's not a big deal. But a weight belt still around your waist, it can be hard on your back, especially when you get older. So that's what weight integration BC is all about. These front pockets are quick dumps. Just the way your weight belt was with the quick buckle. You just pull on this in an emergency. Now, it doesn't happen very often. Some people get all uptight about this. I've got to be able to dump my weights in an emergency. Think back. How many times have you dropped your weight belt intentionally? How many times have you said, I have to drop my weight belt? I think if you're honest, very, very seldom. I've been diving for 58 years, and I have to really, really stretch my memory to think of a time when I dropped my weight belt. And I can't. It may have happened in 60 years. I can't think of a time. You just don't do it. If you're diving properly and being careful and everything else, there's a lot of ifs in there. So you just really don't do it very often. So don't get too uptight about it. You can drop these 2 front pockets. You can't drop these ones. You can't get rid of them. They're in there called non-dumpable. They stay in there, okay? So that's a full feature BC. Now, here's the problem. Here's the difficulty. I'm back. This pocket says that it holds 10 pounds. It won't hold 10 pounds. This is called advertising. This is called marketing. Okay? This is 5 pounds. Here's 5 pounds. These, by the way, are shot weight. This is lead shot in here. And I think it's important, we talk about that for just 1 minute. This is a more typical bullet weight. This is a 2-pound bullet weight or a 3-pound bullet weight. This is lead. Okay, coated lead. A couple of things. First of all, we should be using coated lead to protect the environment from lead. Lead is bad. You can't use lead shot if you're a hunter anymore. There's no lead plumbing. Used to be all lead plumbing in houses. No, because lead's bad. And I think as divers, we need to do our part. If you were in a dive store and they're still using lead weights, raw lead weights, say something about it. Say, oh, you should be using plastic weights. That lead. Don't get in an argument with them, but they should be doing that. With these lead shot pouches, same issue applies here, because some of the early lead, and these are great. Look at it. See, nothing to it. That's 5 pounds. Don't drop this on your foot, but you can actually drop this in your foot. It's nothing. It's like a sandbag. Some of the early ones leaked. And you get gray lead, not lead, but water coming out with dissolved lead in it. The new ones don't do that. They're actually sealed, so none of the lead comes out. So these are quite good. But if you put that 5-pound lead into that pouch that supposedly holds 10 pounds, it's almost full. You might get another 2, this is a 2-pounder in there, but that's full. The only way you're going to get 10 pounds in there, I jokingly say, is to melt the lead and pour it in. Okay? But if you do get 10 pounds in here, you're going to have a great big lead block on each side. So now you've lost the convenience, portability of the weight integrated BC. So I would not even suggest you get 10 pounds in there. Some people look, oh, that's good. I get 10 pounds there, 10, that's 20, and then I get 3 and 3. I can get 30 pounds in the BC. No, not really. If you do, first of all, you can't pick it up. With the regular, the tank, the BC, and all that lead, you're going to hurt yourself picking it up. So what I suggest generally is this. If you are diving up here, and let's assume for a moment you need, let's say you need 20 pounds. Let's go with 20 pounds. So 5 in there, that's good, in the pocket. 5 over here, there's 10, okay? Then 2 3s, a 3 and a 3 on each side, okay? That's another 6, and you're up to 16 already. You only need 4 more. There's a variety of ways to do that. There are clip-on weights, or you can have a 4-pound weight belt. Bigger people, you need, some of you folks out there are big, and you need 25 or 30 pounds of weight, same thing. I would suggest 15, 16 pounds in the BC, and a 10-pound weight belt. A 10-pound weight belt's nothing. Very, very little. That's only a couple of 2-pound weights on each side. And so very seldom can you dive in cold water where you need 20 pounds of weight or more and get it all in the BC. I just don't suggest. It's not good. It's not good for the BC either. It tears the BC. Darn things are a lot of money. So that's one misconception, that you can dive with no weight belt, no matter where you are. No, if you're diving down south, for sure, but not up here. Okay, now I want to show you something else that's kind of interesting, and that the BCs have also changed a little bit. So this is your traditional, very, very good quality, all-round, north, south, every kind of diving BC. Okay, let's take a look at another style. This is kind of interesting here. This is another style here, and it looks very similar, same features and so on. A little lighter, better for travel. Doesn't have those big heavy rings and so on. But look what they've done over here for their integration. They have integration. Still got a nice pocket here. But on the side, on each side, they have a pocket like this. Look at here, you see that? And a clip on it that flops open. Now, you able to get that, Kevin? I know it's down low. But so what you do here, with this style of BC, it's quite common. You open the top, right? And you put your weight in. And you can do this when you're down south or up here. Because down south, of course, when you're on a charter boat in the Pacific or the Indian Ocean, Mediterranean, or the Caribbean, they give you weights, right? Show you how much weight you need, so you put your weight in here, 3-pound or 4-pound in there, zip it. Now, if you feel that you need to drop your weight, pull. You see, so it still is dumpable. And then you still have a trim pocket on the back if you need it. So this is nice. What's the benefit? Well, there's no extra pocket. There's no big clip. This is lighter. A little less expensive too. All those extra parts in that bigger BC with a big traditional type of weight integration pocket is not required with this. It's an additional zip-on pocket. So something worth thinking about is too. Like certainly for travel, it's nice. Here's another one. Same idea. Okay, this is made by Scuba Pro. This particular BC, same idea. So you still have your pocket, right? Nice big pocket in front for your light and your slate and so on, right? But at the back, look back here. So back here, there's another zippered area, a narrow zippered area. And we're going to take your weight, drop it in, okay, zip it up. Okay, off you go. Weight integration BC. There you go, weight's in there. And to drop it, pull it still works. So you still, you should be able to get rid of the weights if you need to. As I said earlier, don't get paranoid about it, but should be able to allow you to do that. So the weight integration BC is a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I've been using one now for a few years, and I've come around to the idea that I like the idea. As long as you understand, it won't necessarily preclude you from having to wear a weight belt if you need a lot of weight. Down south, they're fantastic. I'll show you one more. This is the BC I'm currently using. We travel. My wife and I, Diana, some of you may know her, we travel a great deal. And when you travel, we have other concerns. Now, the weight. Don't get me started on airlines. But when you travel, you want to keep the weight as low as possible. And so there are new BCs on the market now that are especially designed for travel. This is one example. So this is the Oceanic Bio Light. Very, very interesting BC. Now, I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of change. I was not a big fan of weight integration when it first came out. I'm not a big fan of back-mounted BCs or wing BCs or Hershey, whatever you want to call them, the BCs that have all the inflation at the back, not in front, as with a standard stab jacket, stabilizing jacket. This does. So, how's it work? Well, there's a harness. It's a nice simple harness. You see it here. And the inflation is all in the back here. They have bungees to keep it squeezed small. And this material is really neat and actually stretches. I don't know how they do it. How can they have a stretchy material that's airtight? But anyway, Oceanic's done a good job. Everything else is the same. Dump and inflated mechanism, very good. Dump in front. Everything else is exactly the same. It has a band. Everything is exactly. But it weighs half. This BC weighs 1/2 the weight of that first BC I showed you. Doesn't have the heavy Harley-Davidson rings, a lot of the other features. In fact, in order to get the weight down for travel, there has to be a compromise. You all understand that life is a bit of a compromise. You can't have everything, you know. How does cake and eat it too apply to BC? So if you look on the front of this BC, you will see that right here we have a weight pocket. You see that? This is a weight pocket. And it unzips. They've done a little bit differently here. It unzips, pocket in there, and I've dropped all my weights, Kevin. I have no weights left. So if you're down south, you take your, even lead weights will work on these BCs, you know. So you can drop your lead weight into there and zip it back up, and you're all set to go. And off you go. You put the weight in there as you need. Now, again, with this BC, as with those couple of those earlier ones, if you need to drop the weight, this is around you. If you need to drop the weight, you squeeze. Whoa! Lead weight, that was close. Anyway, you see? It works exactly just the same. It has a pocket on the other side, and it has trim pockets back here too, so you can spread the weight around to keep your attitude in the water. You can, you know, so you're not tipping forward or tipping back. You have to play with this a little bit, practice. But I found, you know, a couple of my dives with this BC at first were kind of pretty funny, but I found after a few dives, if I stayed with the same suit, practice moving the weights around, pretty soon it was fantastic. I just loved it, and it's so small and light. What about the compromises? Well, there's a weight pocket, no pocket. No pocket. Now, I don't mind that so much. I don't put stuff in the pocket. First of all, the pockets are hard to get open and close. And what am I going to put in? Maybe a light or a slate. I can clip those on. I don't care about the pocket. Some people do. If you're a collector and you like to have a pocket, you can put stuff. You can buy pockets to clip on. You can buy nice mesh pockets, small pockets. You can buy pockets to put on. But the BC doesn't come with a pocket. Part of making it lightweight. It doesn't have a cummerbund and some other things as well, which really are not essentials. Comfortable, you know, it's like leather seats in your car. You don't have to have them, but they're nice. So they got rid of all those frills, and they have a super lightweight BC that is still weight integrated, and it works really well. So anyway, so there's some thoughts on weight integration, on weights, on lead, on the fact that you don't necessarily get rid of the weight belt if you have a weight integrated BC. And you guys down south, don't be so smug, you know, just because you only wear 10 pounds or 12 pounds. Some of us up here, we have to wear 25, 30 pounds. Kevin's laughing back there. You can't see Kevin. Good thing, actually. Well, Kevin's a big boy. Yeah. When he bought his first wetsuit from us here at the store, I went out and bought shares in Goodyear before he bought it. Anyway, he wears a lot of weight. So don't be too smug here now. So sometimes you have to, there's some different types of BCs, so the weight integration works. A little bit of notes on weights. And I'm sure this is going to generate some comments. I know it is. Great. Keep them coming. I love them. I hope that taught you a little bit, showed you a couple of ideas. Alec Peirce from Tech Tips. See you soon.